What happens when morning TV's most unflappable host sits across from pop culture's most divisive guest? What starts as a glossy, good manners chat on Good Morning America slowly derails, answer by clipped answer, until the poise in the room snaps like a mic cable yanked too hard. Today, we revisit the on-air standoff between Lara Spencer and Meghan Markle, a segment that opened in sunshine and closed under studio thunder. The GMA set was its usual morning glow. Soft golds. On the walls, warm key lights, camera cranes gliding in a quiet ballet, teleprompters humming. Lara Spencer sat center frame in a tailored yellow suit, back straight, smile effortless, the kind of presence that makes viewers top off their coffee and trust the day will behave. The band's sting eased out, the applause washed over the room, and the chyron read, Meghan Markle, purpose, privacy, and power. Good morning, everybody, Lara began, bright but gentle. Our next guest is a philanthropist, producer, and best-selling author. Meghan Markle is here. Meghan swept in like a sealed diplomatic note. Cream blouse, navy pencil skirt, hair loose and polished, a flash of diamonds at her wrist. She settled into the velvet chair across from Lara, crossing one leg with choreography. Thanks for having me, she said with a measured smile. Her eyes were already mapping the angles of the room. Lara opened gracefully. So many people were moved by your recent work around mental health advocacy. For viewers at home who may be struggling, what practical tools have helped you most? Meghan's smile cooled a degree. Well, Lara, people expect tips and tricks, as if this were a lifestyle segment. Healing is bigger than that. It's about voice, autonomy, boundaries. She set the last word down like a polished stone. When you understand those, you don't need tools. You need alignment. Alignment? Lara echoed, nodding thoughtfully. For some, that might mean community or therapy. It might, Meghan cut in softly. Or it might mean refusing to entertain reductive questions. She smiled again, lovely and unmistakably pointed. A ripple moved through the audience. Lara's reply landed like a silk pillow. I appreciate the clarity. Let's talk purpose then. You and Prince Harry have launched several initiatives, scholarships, veteran support, digital well-being. Which program has surprised you with its impact? Meghan considered, as if choosing a worthy recipient of attention. All of them. But to be transparent, I don't measure impact in headlines or applause. I measure it in the energy we've shifted. People can feel when systems are being asked to evolve. Results can be hard to quantify in the short term, Lara agreed. Still, is there a story you carry with you? Someone who reached out? A change you could see? Meghan's lashes lowered. There are many. I tend not to share them on cue. A beat. Privacy, remember? A cameraman's fingers tightened on the focus ring. Lara's smile didn't flicker. Completely fair. Let's go to craft. You've moved from acting to producing and hosting. What creative muscles are you using now that you didn't on set? That assumes acting didn't require leadership, Meghan said lightly. It did. I've always captained my space. The difference now is that people notice. Lara's gaze softened. She pivoted with the practiced ease of a ballroom turn. No heel catch. You've spoken about authoring your narrative. Many women find that empowering, especially those balancing work and motherhood. What does a typical morning look like in your home? Meghan laughed, perfectly pitched, a touch cool. We don't do typical in my home. I'm not sure moms need another celebrity pretending we all make dinosaur pancakes before yoga. I have a staff, I have structure, I have help, because I create big things. I'm comfortable saying that. Somewhere behind camera 2, a producer mouthed, "Wow," then scribbled a note. Honesty can be a relief, Lara said evenly. There's freedom in acknowledging support systems. Precisely, Meghan replied, which is why it's odd when interviewers ask for relatability like a receipt. The line lingered between them like perfume, pleasant, then oddly sharp in the throat. Lara reached for a new card, though it was theater. She didn't need one. Let's touch on your upcoming series, she said. You've teased conversations with women in high-pressure roles, athletes, scientists, founders. What question are you most excited to ask them? Meghan brightened, the first true light of the morning. I'm always interested in what they refused, the job they didn't take, the man they didn't marry, the smallness they walked away from. She glanced toward the audience and let it glow. Saying no is a superpower. Sometimes saying no is also a privilege, Lara said gently. Do you worry that message lands differently for viewers who don't have the safety net to refuse opportunities? Meghan folded her hands. Her ring caught the light like a tiny camera flash. Sometimes the limitation is mindset. People underestimate how much of their shine is imagined. On the monitor, everything stayed gorgeous. 2 polished women. Good posture, perfect lighting. In the air, a thin wire hummed. Imagination is powerful, Lara said warmly. Absolutely. I think people watching might also be looking for empathy around constraints that aren't imagined. Rent, childcare, healthcare. Meghan's smile thinned. I'm aware of the world, she added almost sweetly. Are you? A soft, "Oh," bubbled from the risers. Lara took a breath so quiet it barely moved her shoulders. Let's reframe, she said. When the documentary came out, many felt inspired. Others felt confronted. If you could rewrite any single moment, not to appease critics, but to sharpen your intention, what would it be? Meghan tilted her head, a queen weighing mercy. I don't rewrite. I iterate. And I prefer not to uplift the critiques of people who haven't built anything. The voice wasn't raised, nor was it overtly unkind. It simply claimed higher. Ground like a deed. Building requires feedback, Lara replied, still velvet. I ask because your platform is enormous. With that comes impact and responsibility. Meghan's eyes glittered. I'm familiar with responsibility. That's why I'm careful where I sit. A few polite, nervous laughs. Lara's smile finally, barely, faltered. She recovered in the same breath. I'm glad you're here. Viewers want to hear about the work. So, something we promised in our tease. What does accountability look like for institutions you've criticized and for you? Outcomes, Meghan said quickly. Programs funded, lives improved, discourse elevated. When those who profit from harm are uncomfortable, that's also a metric. And for you personally? Lara asked. Calm, direct. Meghan's gaze held. I have never been more aligned. Silence pressed its palm to the control room glass. The stage manager hovered near the commercial cue like a lifeguard watching a gray wave. Lara lifted the moment with practiced sparkle. We'll take a quick break, she told the camera. When we come back, Meghan opens up about creative, risk, a new project she's hinting at, and what she wants her legacy to be. She turned back, smile softening kindly. Stay with us. Applause rose on command, music stitching a bright seam across the room. On the wide shot, the set was a postcard, Manhattan morning in tasteful gold. In the close-ups, something else had arrived, a trace of frost at the edges, hairline cracks in porcelain. Not a fight, yet. The prelude audiences feel in their bones. The next question might be the one that knocks the table, spills the coffee, and sends the day somewhere no producer planned. The applause faded. The band's notes dissolved into the hum of lights. Lara Spencer leaned in, smiling softly at Meghan. Markle across the polished desk. She'd weathered sharp answers from CEOs, athletes, even politicians, but rarely had a guest-wrapped condescension in charm so deftly. Still, Lara's posture remained immaculate. Her voice was steady as ever. Welcome back, she said. We're here with Meghan Markle, discussing her projects and her perspective on building purpose in today's world. Meghan tucked a strand of hair behind her ear and offered a smile that didn't quite meet her eyes. She sat back like someone presiding over a deposition rather than a morning interview. You've been open about wanting to inspire women to step into leadership, Lara asked. What advice would you offer young women watching today who feel overlooked? Meghan's reply was smooth, the edge unnecessary but unmistakable. First, don't wait for permission from morning shows or anyone else to matter. If you know your worth, you don't need validation from an institution or an interviewer. Scattered claps, the air shifted, approval tangled with unease. Fair enough, Lara said evenly, but many young women don't have your resources or platform. How do they start? Practically. Practically, Lara, Meghan answered, soft but patronizing. Practicality becomes the excuse people use to play small. Stop asking how to start. Begin. The details follow those with courage. It landed like a sermon, polished words with a superiority sheen. Courage is essential, Lara agreed, But even the brave often need support systems, mentorship, funding, opportunity. Opportunities, Meghan repeated, smile sharpening. Opportunities find those prepared to take them. I prepared. I claimed my space. Not everyone is willing to do that. Murmurs rose like a tide. Let's turn to your creative work, Lara offered, smoothing edges. Your new project has been described as innovative and groundbreaking. What risks did you take creatively that you're most proud of? Meghan exhaled with a faint laugh. Risks? I don't really see them as risks. When you operate at my level, innovation is the standard, not the gamble. People call it risk because they can't imagine moving without